BWTM Sports Gaming. Glad you could join me for another boxing video. I hope you enjoyed the build up to Usyk versus Dubois 2. I hope you enjoyed the insight, the breakdown, and the prediction and the result. In my mind, when I look at boxing, I although I may like one fighter or I like both fighters, one of the things I try to be is objective. I don't just he's my fighter, I like him, he's gonna win, and not ask questions. As a professional coach of another sport, we have to ask questions. If we don't ask questions, we just do things without questioning what we do. Then afterwards, when there are questions to ask, when things don't go the way we want them to go, we can't learn. So we ask questions so that we can track our progress, the things we do well, the things we don't do so well, things we need to improve on, and celebrate the things we do well, and the things we don't do so well, improve on. So that's why when I look at boxing, every time I look at boxing, and for the 13 years I've known Uncle Bashir, the times I've talked with Peter Fury, and the other trainers that are around. Yeah, EJ, good evening. Um, I'd like to say this, that all the things Spencer mentioned, I had spoken about these things, and I haven't even had those conversations, Spencer. I haven't spoken to Spencer in years. I've spent 3 years in Africa and come back. I've spent no time talking to anybody. But I saw how Spencer was going in, but the things Spencer said are the things I've been saying. So, which I'm going to break down again, and I'm going to go further than what Spencer said. I'm going to go further than what Spencer Ferron said, because there are some things I never agreed with in the start. I told you, EJ, that Usyk had the power, right? I warned you, Usyk had the power. And what you saw there is the real Usyk. That left hand you saw last night was a left hand that has always been there. I told you Usyk's got two levels of punching. When he don't like you, I'm not going to address this tonight. When he don't like you, it's a different man. Tonight, last night you saw the real Alexander Usyk. That guy there is the real Alexander Usyk. All them other guys, times you've seen Usyk fight, um, he's playing. My man's not serious. And when you're great, you can do things like that. And I'm going to break it down to you tonight about this anyway. But I'm going to put that to one side, put it in a corner, and come back to it. So, as I was saying, you need to be able to see something. This is what I did well. This is what I didn't do well. This is why this is where improvement can be made. And when I'm watching these boxing bouts, more and more so, when I get a fight right, and I get a prediction right, I'm like, okay, these are the circumstances that led up to this. When I've got a prediction wrong, I've gone, okay, I didn't consider the referee, I didn't consider the judges, I didn't consider the environment, I didn't consider what the fight was doing outside the ring. So when I'm doing predictions, I'm not just doing predictions or predictions on the two guys that are fighting. I'm doing things that outside the ring will affect what's going on inside the ring. Um, and I don't listen to what the media's got to say. Um, so there is a point I want to talk about: is Alexander Usyk unbeatable? I want to put that somewhere in a conversation, but not yet. I think I want to go back to um, Daniel Dubois, right? I've heard there's statements people make. I don't think they've thought it through. I talked about this fight and I talked about Humpty Dumpty, and people thought, well, I was joking when I talked about Humpty Dumpty. The story goes like this about Humpty Dumpty, and I'm going to tell you the story again about Humpty Dumpty, and I'm going to break it down even further to you. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, yeah? Humpty Dumpty was put up on a wall, yeah? How did he get up on that wall? He got up on that wall, he was elevated. Now, originally, Usyk gave the title, he gave the IBF title up And I'm not knocking the work that Daniel Dubois did, right? I'm not knocking it. The young man did well to come back and get those wins under Don Charles. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. And as he sat on the wall, he started to believe the things that people were saying. All the King's men were saying to him, "You're unbeatable. By any means necessary. It's going to be chaos." And the King's men also had lots to say. Now Humpty Dumpty fell off the wall. He's been dethroned. And he cracked his skull. Yeah? They said all the king's horses and all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again. I'm basically telling you that I don't care if Daniel Dubois is 21, 23, 25, 26, 27. The damage that was done in this fight right here with Usyk the second time round is, it may be career ending. Okay, and if you think I'm joking about this year, let me give you an example of another fighter not too far away from us, Anthony Joshua. Joshua was doing well in his career until he met Andy Ruiz. And what happened to Anthony Joshua when he met Andy Ruiz? Yeah, that's what happened. And he has not been the same fighter since. He has switched from trainer to trainer. Yes, he won the world title back. Agreed. I'm going to come to Parker as well in a minute. I'm going to come to Parker. So, where was I? Completely lost what I was thinking. Joshua. Yeah, he's been from trainer to trainer. You've won £7, seven grand on 7 round KO. Really? I've said he'd stop Dubois inside 6. I was talking to Uncle Bashir and I told him Dubois will get stopped inside 6 and it will be a brutal knockout. And Bashir looked at me like this. I said, "I'm not asking you, Uncle. I'm telling you, he will get stopped inside 6. Uncle said, "Nah, 9, 10." I said, "No, 6. He might even be faster than that. Depends how brave Dubois is. Because Dubois is going to come forward. But anyway, I want to come back to that later. So, Anthony Joshua, how old is he now? 34, 35? He got knocked out by Ruiz. He hasn't recovered from that knockout to the Ruiz. I would say Daniel Dubois' knockout was more brutal than AJ's. Because AJ was kind of stopped on his feet. Dubois was knocked sparko. He was knocked sparko. And he was built up so much hype, so much around him, so much. The poor lad didn't even know what was going on. He didn't know what he was in. I said to you before in the pre-fight breakdown. This ain't just two boxing match between two people. This is a spiritual war. This is a spiritual war. And I said that the Usyk that comes out to fight Daniel Dubois is the Usyk that is ready to go to war, literally. Moments after Dubois got knocked out by Usyk, I got sent a picture from Ukraine. And the Ukrainian from the military sitting down in tents watching the fight. Yeah. What's in here? When I knew Dubois was on the back foot, I knew it was over. I said the moment, that's what I said to you, you put him on the back foot. Joshua ain't fought since. I wonder if he's being tested. Oh, okay, dog. I thought you meant last night. Fighting for countries. That's what I'm saying. You listen. You are poking the bear of a man that is fighting for his country. A man that is, if you've done your research, and I know people don't do their research on Alexander Usyk, I could have told you. I could have just ring me up and say, listen, what do you know about Usyk? First thing you do not go and talk about this man's faith. This man's faith is his faith, his father, Ukraine. You do the touching them three things, you're getting the real Usyk. You're getting the real hot pepper sauce. That's what you're getting. I keep telling the story. When Sugar Ray Leonard was going to fight Marvin Hagler, he kept Marvin Hagler on chill. He didn't go run up his gums to Marvin Hagler and talking whole lot of smack to Marvin Hagler, because he knew he would awaken the beast in Hagler, and he couldn't handle that. And Ray Leonard knew that. So Ray Leonard said, you know what? I'm gonna play this calm. I'll play this cool. When I fight this dude, I want this guy cool and calm. I don't want this guy up in my face. He's gonna be up in my face, but I want to be able to cool at it. I knew I was supposed to put a tenner on the KO. I knew it was going to happen. Yeah, it was definitely going to happen. Definitely, there was no. That was like I said. Dubois didn't know what was going on. He didn't know. He was being told what to do. Do you know? Do you know how programmed Daniel Dubois is? Do you know how I know how programmed this boy is? This boy is programmed so badly, yeah, that Don Charles had to turn around and tell him, "Oh yeah, address the audience." He had to tell Dubois, basically, to thank the audience and thank the people. He couldn't do it off his own back. I may be a small majority, but I'd like to see Usyk fight Wilder, then retire. Beating the three biggest names of the era would be the icing on the cake of Hall of Fame career. I want to see that fight before, yeah, and I thought that would have been a legit fight back then, but not now. Wilder, Wilder's been well and truly finished off by Malik Scott. I'm sorry to say, he's well and truly messed up. Wilder, Wilder is too hesitant now. Wilder's trying to box, and listen, I'll come on to Parker in a minute, and Ajit Kabayel, who Ajit Kabayel I think is the best heavyweight in the world. Ajit Kabayel is the best heavyweight in the world. I'm not asking you guys, I'm telling you, he's the best heavyweight in the world outside of Alexander Usyk. Ajit Kabayel, because I think he beats Tyson Fury as well, Ajit Kabayel. And I've said this before when the fight was being arranged for Ajit Kabayel, for Tyson Fury to fight Ajit Kabayel. He dodged the bullet there. Kabayel would have beat the shit out of Fury. And if you don't believe me, I said he was going to beat the shit out of Zhang. People say, Zhang's going to knock him out. I said, listen, Zhang, this is not Joe Joyce. Yeah, Zhang dropped him. And that makes him even more dangerous. This is a man that got dropped by Zhang. He gets up and then beats the shit out of Zhang. Ajit Kabayel is no joke. That guy is the real deal. But anyway, I want to come back to what I was saying. So they're talking about Dubois coming back at 27, and Frank saying about 6 months he's going to let him rest and come back. Rest and come back and do what? You first of all, you've got issues with your trainer. You've got issues with your team. So who's your trainer going to be? Are you going to bring Rubber Kraken, or are you going to bring in a typical situation like this? Is where you bring Ben Davidson in. I can see the Ben Davidson thing coming. You know, and I can see it happening. I can see it happening. I don't think Don's going to last much longer with Dubois, because questions will be asked. They've lost the title now, so usually in a situation where, unless they've got calm heads there, the trainer will go, and they'll think they can get a better trainer in. But me personally, before you get rid of a trainer, before you decide to get rid of Don, I would ask yourself this question: who are you going to bring in to mentally heal Daniel Dubois? Because this is the problem. You'll think by just bringing in a new trainer solves the problem. It doesn't solve the problem. Because if that solved the problem, AJ would not have the same issues mentally that he still got. He still got, and it really is issues. That never got healed, never got addressed, never got dealt with. You can't, you have been mentally scarred to get beat up, knocked down, punched through the ropes like AJ did in America in front of all those people. Your ego takes a huge, yeah. And then you change trainers and you get beat up again by the middleweight, which is what everyone's saying. The middleweight is what Tyson calls him. And then you get another trainer and got Mexican style, put a bit more weight on, charge at him again, and you get beat up even more. And then you got smashed by Dubois. I mean, people wonder what's going on with Joshua. And every time Joshua gets beat, he runs off to Africa. I don't know if he's trying to look for answers there. And I'm not having a dig at Joshua. I'm not trying to be funny with Joshua. But you've got to solve the problem. You've got to deal with that. Until you mentally heal, and those scars, they will remain there. You're just putting a plaster over a disease. And that don't work, because it will come back again. So there is an issue there that needs to be addressed. The next question is, does Daniel Dubois even want to box again? People are like, oh, he's 27, he'll come back. For what? How much money has Daniel Dubois made? What's it, 73 million? 73 million? And no defense of the title? I mean, seriously. I don't think it's going to happen, mate. Dubois, it's not happening. Bashir was already in the camp. It's not going to happen. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. No, not going to happen. Because Bashir's going to want to run the camp by himself. And especially now what's happened with Sorenko. I don't think so. I don't think so. He's going to want to run the camp by himself. Exactly. Dubois set for life. So what is his motivation for fighting now? He's been IBF heavyweight champion of the world. He's secured his future. What the hell does he need to box for anymore? Do you understand? What do you need to box for? Oh, he's 27, he can come back. Who's saying that? Who's saying that crap? Who's saying that? It's people who are saying that haven't got 27 million in the bank. Or 73 million in the bank, sorry. Plus 73 million plus the other fights he had. Come on, stop it. What is the motivation for the young man to fight? For what? To do what? And when would he fight again? And what is he fighting for? If Usyk's still around, he's not going to fight Usyk. He's not beating Usyk. He's not beating Caballero. He's not beating Parker. He's not beating anybody who's got two fists, will punch him back, and have got movement. If you're flat-footed and walking straight lines, yeah, he'll beat you. He'll beat you. But if you've got footwork, a little bit of IQ, and a little bit of movement, you beat Daniel Dubois. So for me, young man Dubois, look after yourself, bro. Look after yourself. I mean, to me, you should be boxing. Me, Dubois should not be boxing. And I'll tell you why he should be boxing. Let me give you, they say protect yourself at all times, yeah? But if you're going to protect yourself at all times, then who should be looking after you in the corner? Unless you want your dad to be your trainer, you should not be looking at the ring, looking for your dad. You shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that. What the hell are you looking at the ring for? You're the only fighter I've seen looking at your ring, looking for your dad. Every other round. And then your dad's calling instructions out. And then your trainer's next to you. You're ignoring your trainer. You're looking out for your dad. You shouldn't be boxing, bro. I mean, you get your money, get out. You shouldn't be boxing no more. You should be, I don't know, do something else. You should be boxing now, bro. To do what? To put yourself in more danger? You ready are? You know, yeah, I don't I don't understand it. I don't get it. Moses is gonna get hurt. Moses is gonna get hurt. Moses is definitely gonna get hurt. He's definitely gonna get hurt. I've said this is the era. This era is worse than the Eddie Hearn era. This era is worse because Turkey Al Sheikh's got the crazy money to do what he wants, and he'll ruin a lot of fighters if they take the money. How the hell can you put Moses Atalmi in the ring of Alexander Usyk? Are you Usyk or what? Turkey don't know shit about boxing. He's just about money. He literally don't know shit about boxing. Uh, is it him or the people around him? Greek Turkey might catch a case making that fight. It's pure business. Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. Dubois versus Sanchez. What? You want murder or what? In about the reigning heavyweights, who do you think has a shot? I'm going to go into that in a minute. I'm going to go into that in a minute. I wish it was with vacate all the belts free division up. Great match. No, I don't want. I don't want Usyk. I don't want Usyk freeing the belts up. I don't want him freeing the belts up. Yeah, me one champion. No, I'm the champion. You're the champion. He's the champion. No, one champion. One champion. One face. One name. One champion. But it don't make sense because if you split all the belts up now, you know that Usyk, even when the belt was split, fragmented with one belt, the IBF belt, Dubois was world champion. But listen, nobody's looking at Dubois and saying, "Yeah, he's the man. Yeah, he's the man." Everyone knew Usyk was the man, and Usyk solidified. Usyk just loaned his belt out. He literally said, "You know what? I'm gonna loan you my belt out. Go and have some fun. Go and play Daniel with the belt. Go and play being world champion with the belt. But when I'm ready, I'm gonna collect that belt. I'm gonna punch you up in the process." So okay, let's go on. So in my opinion, Dubois should not box again. One face, one name, one champion. That's it. Unless, unless we can do a super series with all the belt holders. They have to take part in the competition and they have to fight. Therefore, that way you can have undisputed. So that's the only way I would agree on the belts being separated. The belts get separated, they get brought back in together, and then we can have a super series. That is excellent. Like how Callum Smith fought in that championship or Andre Ward fought. But that at the end of that championship, there should be an undisputed champion. That's what I think. So that if we want to do it that way, that's fine. Right. Next things we've dealt with Dubois. Retire. Do not box again. Only because until you can sort out your issues with you and your dad, and your dad, and your team, and that whoever the trainer is, then that trainer has to be the number one voice in the corner, and Dubois got to trust the trainer. So we'll leave it as that. But they have to address the mental scarring from being literally poleaxed by Usyk. That is something you cannot avoid. You have to deal with that. So let's put that to one side. Now, on the subject of Alexander Usyk, another bit of crap that's been spoken about now. I don't agree with this statement at all. I don't. Is Usyk an all-time great? Yes, he is. Yes, he is. I said he's the second coming of Muhammad Ali. By saying that, I mean that Usyk is our Muhammad Ali. For our era, he's our Muhammad Ali. And Muhammad Ali got beat, but he's our Muhammad Ali. And if you look at Muhammad Ali and you look at the guys Muhammad Ali beat and the way he beat them with this. He beat them with that brain. He didn't beat them because he's physically stronger or he's bigger. He beat them with his brain. It was just his intelligence. So that's what it is. Who's saying calm down? Listen, bro, you need to calm down. How do you get you out? Calm down, bro, and good night. So yeah. So yeah, that's where I see that. Of course. He's our Ali. He's our. If you're gonna say in this era, give me somebody who's comparable to Ali in size, in height, in weight. Well, he's 240 now, but Ali, Ali, boxing wise, you don't know. Ali. So Ali, when we look back, we'll say he's our Ali. Because Tyson Fury's not our Ali. He's our Ali. I would say that this era's Riddick Bowe would be Gerald Miller. He'd be our Riddick Bowe. Yeah, nobody's Ali, bro. Listen, you don't understand. Listen, people try to immortalize Muhammad Ali. I was fortunate to have Muhammad Ali's brother on the phone to me, talking to me. He called my house, and I did a almost a 2 hour interview with Muhammad Ali's brother, right? So I was fortunate to be very, very connected to the Ali family in that sense, right? Muhammad Ali was a great fighter, but let's also remember he got beat by an 8 fight novice in Leon Spinks. He's got beat by a few fighters in his career, right? So when you talk about Ali being great, he was great, but don't like say he was unbeatable and stuff because he got beat. And this is something that Ali was great. I'm not disputing Ali being great, but for our era, Usyk is our great man for our era. He fought, yeah, so he did. So who are the killers in our era then? We don't have killers in our era. We don't have killers in our era. Joshua was not a killer. Well, a lot of people said that Joshua was going to knock him out. So everyone's talking. You're talking about this after the fact, and I don't like having these conversations because people are always good in hindsight, and I like to have the conversation as a coach. You look at things from what they are when it happened, not after the fact, because we can all be smart after the fact, but this is not a conversation. So I'm not. I'm saying to you, Ali and Usyk is the Ali of this era. That is my statement. I'm not arguing with anybody about it. This is my feelings about it, and that's it. Yeah, he might do, but there's some fighters that might. Usyk would murder in that era as well. I don't think Leon Spinks would beat Alexander Usyk. What does that prove? I don't think Henry Cooper would have floored Usyk. But does that mean anything? No, it doesn't. And that's not. It's not point. Let's just do this. There we go. If there's any moderators in the room, there's any fools that come in the room, please do block them. Right now, let's get on to my next point. Let's shift off for that next point. Alexander being unbeatable. I don't know why people love to argue me. Alexander Usyk being unbeatable. No, he's not unbeatable. He's not unbeatable. He is a great fighter, but he's not unbeatable. He's not unbeatable. Yeah, I think he is beatable. But the guys that have fought him so far have taken the wrong approach. If you look at Fury and Joshua, they thought that their size and their power would overpower Usyk. It didn't. Okay, okay. Can we'll shift conversation now? We're not talking about it anymore. Apart from, I even forgot what I was saying now. Totally forgot what I was saying. Lost track. Thank you very much for that. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's it. Thank you. So yeah, all those guys tried to overpower Usyk. Now I'm gonna break this down as a coach. I'm not breaking this down as a boxing fan, or I'm breaking this down as a coach. From a coach, how I'd see it if I was looking at using video analysis to break this down with Usyk. And this is how I'm seeing things. The guys that have, first of all, I don't think that the boxing public the trainers, the fighters, are giving Usyk his correct identity. They're not. They're not giving Usyk his correct identity. First of all, Usyk can't punch. One, well, that's a lie. Put that to one side. So Usyk can punch. I've always said Usyk can punch. Two, Usyk's a runner. That's not rubbish. That's rubbish. Usyk knows how to engage. He knows how to come in, and get out. And when he's hurt, he gets slight steps to the sides. Right. That's what we know. So he's not a runner. So let's take those two words out. He's not a runner, and he can punch. Thirdly, he studies his opponents. So he definitely studies his opponents. Right? Usyk studies you. Much like Floyd Mayweather, he studies you. 4. Usyk can be emotional. We saw it in the Dubois fight when you and he's got another gear there. Usyk is a killer. If you look at Usyk as a killer, rather than look at him as this light punching middleweight, as Tyson Fury likes to say, or look at him as a heavyweight that can punch, has got fast hands, who's got good movement, who's got good defensive skills, and he's intelligent. If we start to look at the fighter with all his attributes, the things he does very well, and give him full credit for what he does very well, then you can begin to look at how you go about beating him. Now, when he fought Daniel Dubois, fighters fight in patterns. I've said this over and over and over again. And if you watch Alexander carefully, when he is backing out or pulling out from punches, some fighters, they pull up with the chin in the air. If you look at Usyk, when he pulls it back, he tucks his guard in tight. I can't with both hands, but he tucks in tight and he pulls back. If you look at when he's got his hands here, remember, he cannot, and yeah, he's a southpaw, forget to add that. But there is a solution to a southpaw, and I'll come to that in a minute. When he's got his hands here, he cannot throw punches. That is when you need to be throwing your punches. When Usyk backs out, that's when you throw your punches. That's the first thing. So when you're going to land your body shots, that's when you land your body shots. As soon as he puts those hands up, body shots. Because he can't, at that point in time, he can't defend himself. You go back and look at when he fought Dubois again and pulls the tapes. Watch every time Usyk comes out. He brings his hands back. He's there open to the body. There are many occasions in that fight where Usyk was pulling back or pulling to the sides. And if he pulls the tape, his sides are open to body shots. But somebody like Dubois will never be able to capitalize it. Because I'm not being funny, but he hasn't got the IQ to do that. So if 100 Dubois go on and fight Alexander Usyk, he will remain unbeatable. Yes, he'd be unbeatable. But there are guys that can there are guys who are capable of landing those shots. If you get a guy like Parker or Ashet Caballo who study opponents and have got good trainers in their corner, it's timing. Correct. So there are things Usyk does very well. Another thing, which is garbage, Usyk can't fight off the back foot. That's another thing. Usyk, how did he knock out Dubois? Yeah, Usyk doesn't. Frank Warren said himself, well, Usyk doesn't fight well on the back foot. How did the guy get knocked out? Was it on the front foot? It was off the back foot that he smashed Dubois, off the back foot. So, off the back foot is effective, on the front foot is effective. He's more effective on the front foot than the back foot. The other thing is, when Usyk's moving, you know that when Usyk is hurt, he moves from side to side. Why is it when he moves from side to side, nobody cuts him off? So when he's going to his right, is it his right? you throw the left hook. And when he's going to his left, you throw your right hook. Are we doing that? The guys who fights, how good are they at closing the range down? Guys like Fury and Joshua are too big to fight Usyk. They're too big. They are too big. Guys, Joseph Parker size, Ajit Caballel size, they're the type of guys that are going to give Usyk the most problems. I'm telling you now. Telling you right now. Ajit Caballel, sorry, I'm just talking about Usyk Dubois tonight. Ajit Caballel and Parker, those two guys there are of the right size, got good hand speed, boxing brains, can move in, can move out, can move to the sides, can fight off the back foot. They can box and they fight. Those are the type of guys that are going to give Usyk a problem. Those are the type of guys that are going to give Usyk problems. I made a prediction years ago that I believed Joseph Parker would become undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. Years ago I said it. And you know what? I'm going to stand on it. Let's wait and see what happens. I believe Joseph Parker has got the tools. He's been beaten already. He knows what it's like to get knocked out. He knows what it's like not to prepare properly for a fight. He knows what it takes, and he's got a hunger and desire, and he's now gelled very well with Andy Lee. Very adaptable fighter, Joseph Parker. Very, very adaptable. They want to kind of freeze Joseph Parker out, but he's very good. Joseph Parker is very good. Ajit Caballel is very good. They're the two guys that I think have the greatest chance of beating Usyk. They're the type of guys that will test his age because they're fast, they punch hard, but their punching power isn't everything about them. His punching power isn't everything about it. So like you look at Fury, it's because of his height and he's big. So that was the big thing about Fury. He's tall, he's big. The same with Joshua. He's big, he's tall, he's powerful, he can punch. Those two guys, that's what it's about, being big, strong, and powerful, and trying to overpower the guy coming up from cruiserweight to heavyweight. But you look at a guy like Parker or Ajit Caballel, they can punch and they can box. And they don't have to worry about punching up or punching down. You punch straight in front. Similar size, similar build. And the issues of lugging around weight, being too heavy, are not going to be an issue. Or being uncoordinated is not going to be an issue. Or having doubts about what style they got. These guys are mentally strong enough now. So I think these two guys have got what it takes to beat Usyk. I do. You can't use Daniel Dubois as the blueprint. You can't say, well, because Usyk smashed Daniel Dubois, then he's unbeatable. No. If you put Daniel Dubois as the blueprint, yeah, he's unbeatable. But you the guys out there that are shorter, that are more compact, they've got faster hands, they've got better boxing brains. Like, to me, two fights Joshua had with Usyk, and the two fights that Fury had with Usyk, it was all about brute strength and power. Oh, I'm going to use my strength. I'm going to bully this guy. I didn't see where all this technical excellence was. I didn't see it. I saw a guy, the big guy, trying to bully a smaller guy, and then the smaller guy saying, "Look, have this," and then not be able to handle it. That's what it is. But these two guys, Ajit Caballel is not relying on his weight or his height or his punching power. He's got the total package. They're total packages. These are more complete boxers. They can move forward, they can go back, they can go side to side. Everything Usyk can do in terms of movement, they can do. They can do. and they're both mentally very strong. Fury's mentally strong, but I mean, a guy like Fury who's got so much money in the bank, I don't know if he's as hungry as a Ajak Kabayel or as a Josie Parker. I don't know, but that's those are the things I look at there. So Usyk unbeatable? No, no. Um, Hall of Famer? Yes. Uh, Greatest of this era generation? Probably. Unbeatable? That's a question mark. If he'll be unbeatable if he carries on fighting Joshua Fury or Dubois, he'll be unbeatable. But if he goes and starts tackling these guys, there's gonna be a problem. Yeah, probably. And that is my feeling about this whole thing, really, because I say these things and people don't listen to me, and they go on and they listen to this trash that's been talking out there in the media, and they still have to come back and see me afterwards because I don't have time. The media, for the most part, are bought and controlled by the promoters, so they have to sell a narrative. And as long as they're selling a narrative, they're never going to tell you the truth. How can Daniel Dubois be the puncher, but he got knocked out by Usyk? How can you be the puncher? I'm not understanding. Did you hurt Usyk in the fight? Did you knock Usyk down apart from the low blow? Did you knock Usyk down? Did you visibly shake him up? Or if you were the puncher in the second fight, well, where was that punching power? So this is where I talk about illusions. Illusions. Dubois, apart from the low blow or that body shot, did not hurt Usyk. And by the way, he threw that body shot again in the second fight. What happened? This is my point. This is my point. And how can you say he's improved? You fought 3 guys that were plodders. Now you're fighting a guy who's a southpaw, who you can't prepare for in sparring. It's totally different. Of course, without a target, power is useless. ULDUBB. Oh yes, good evening. How you doing? Of course it is. And who are you using as a sparring partner? Who are you using to spar? That's the biggest problem that every heavyweight that faces Alexander Usyk is going to have. Not being able to have adequate sparring to face that man. Because there's nobody in the world that boxes like Alexander Usyk. And there in itself is a problem. Hey! Jesus. Wow. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Sorenko looked horrible. Have you spoken to Coach Ali Bashir? No, I haven't, to be honest. I haven't. Um, I didn't want to say much. I think that I will let the dust settle, and when Uncle's ready, I'm sure he'll talk about it. That was probably pretty hurtful to have watched to watch Usyk main event fighting, and have trained Usyk to become cruiserweight champion of the world. To have watched Dubois in the corner fighting for the heavyweight champion of the world, and you being in that corner previously. To see those 2 guys fighting, and then to see your guy, your protege, perform the way that he did, that must be very painful. Very, very painful. All those years of investment, time, energy, for him to do that, I don't know what Vlad was doing, because if you go and look at my videotape of Vlad I did a video of I was in camp with Vlad preparing for a fight in Germany. And if you look at where Bashir was teaching Vlad Tsarenko, and then you look at what Vlad was doing Saturday night, two totally different fighters. It was, oh, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I was mortified watching that. I didn't go to the hotel room. I could have gone to the hotel to see them. I stayed away. I didn't want any sort of, I didn't feel as if I had anything to do with it, but I was shocked. Truly shocked. Couldn't believe it. Yeah, and then people are messaging me, saying to me, "Well, what happened? Or what was this? I never want to see Vlad box again." I don't know, but I'll tell you what happens after him now. No doubt, I'm sure Frank will throw him in with a guy that will probably be a puncher and get rid of him. I just don't know what Frank's going to do with him now. Frank must have had a vision for Vlad Tsarenko. I don't know. I don't know where to begin to start with that. Was he injured? Was he poisoned? I don't. I mean, how are you getting your head jabbed off? You get hit with punches that you would have been told to slip and slide by Bashir. And even when he went to throw his punches, they weren't even connecting. So I'm wondering to myself, did this guy do any sparring? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you. Wish I could tell you something more. But shame really. The biggest stage, the opportunity for you to become like in the top 10 of heavyweights and be a part of the round the table and making that money and getting your name up in lights and potentially one day getting a shot at the heavyweight championship of the world, and you go and put in a shot at something like that. God only knows what's going through Bashir's head now. But at one point he asked Tsarenko, "Are you okay?" And Tsarenko said, "Yes, James." I'm like, "No, you're not okay." So I don't know if Vlad went into the fight with an injury. I don't know if the occasion got to him. I don't know if he had a mental breakdown in the ring. It can happen. I don't. Yeah, the occasion may have got to him. The occasion might have been too big for him. Diego Pacheco is a classy operator. Yeah, he sure is. So is Gary Russell Jr. So is Bam Bam Rodriguez. So is Manny Pacquiao. So I don't know. 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 I'm mortified again for James Bashir. I mean, people saying like this is a James Bashir fighter. That was not a James Bashir. I can assure you that was not a James Bashir fighter. That wasn't. That wasn't. This Danny Dubois got a long way back. I just pray and hope that they take their time with the young man and give him extra attention in terms of his mental well-being and healing from the fight from Usyk. Can I just say, I'd pay pay-per-view to keep Okoli off any of my remaining cards. I don't know. I think the pair of them, Okoli and Kevin Lorena, the pair of them. Do you remember them back in the day when people used to say that Okoli would end up being the heavyweight, Britain's version of Deontay Wilder? Don't know. He was hitting Lorena with big shots and he couldn't even move Lorena. I don't know if Okoli even is a heavyweight punch, like a real big one punch heavyweight puncher. Aha. +1 for the above. Awful. Yeah, I don't know. I thought Lorena had a chance of knocking Okoli out. But it looked like Lorena, he threw a good punch. He made Okoli's leg do a little dance for a moment. And then he just gave up. Like he went back into sparring mode. I like to sort of Coley fight a guy who's going to let his hands go, like a Joseph Parker. I'd like to see Joseph Parker fight a Coley because he'd let his hands go. Ajit Caballel again will let his hands go. Frank Sanchez let his hands go. Even Lawrence Coley versus F.A. Jagba. Let's see that. Coley's got to be in the ring with guys who are going to throw punches back at him and consistently throw punches back at him and not care what he throws back because that's the only way he's going to be exciting to watch. Otherwise, he's going to jab and grab. That's what you do. He is our Henry Akinwande. Lawrence Okoli is Henry Akinwande in disguise. I've said it. You go back and look at Henry Akinwande when he fought. He dropped Lennox Lewis. I know they didn't give him the count for that, but yeah, he dropped Lennox Lewis. Henry Akinwande hit him with the top of the head. Good fighter, Henry Akinwande. But Oliver McCall ironed him out. I think they were fighting, and I think Akinwande knocked him out in the 10th round. Do you think White has anything left for Italma? If he has, and that's a good question. Where's the press conference for this fight? Why are we not seeing anything mentioned by Dillian White? Why are we not hearing anything from Moses Atama? That's what I'd like to know. No press conference. Normally you hear stuff about Dillian White be all of over IFL TV now. I believe we've already lost one fight on that card. Oh dear. We don't hear nothing. Nothing has been said about this fight. I don't understand. Normally a fight like this would be announced and then they do the press conference or you'd hear people talking about the fight. And the fact that they're trying to make Anthony Joshua against Jake Paul. Oh my God. Listen, Jake Paul is either is he heavily deluded or he knows something I don't know. Because he had a contract with Mike Tyson, I believe. In that contract said that if Mike knocked out Jake Paul, Mike wouldn't make any money. If that's the case, I'd like to know what Julio Cesar Chavez Jr.'s contract was. Because what? Is Joshua going to go in a fight with Jake Paul and risk getting knocked out or beat up? And I don't know. I don't know. Joshua in no way, shape or form should be associated with Jake Paul. Should not. Should not. Definitely KO. Well, if Jake Paul were to clip Joshua on the chin and drop him, if it's not fixed, Jake Paul could beat Tommy Fury. Couldn't beat Tommy Fury, who couldn't win an area title. It's a scam. The fight would be an embarrassment for Joshua. I know, but at this stage of Joshua's career, anything is possible. Even consider it as an embarrassment. Of course, it's an embarrassment. It's a disgrace. But it won't be disgrace on Misfits. But the fact that, how do you begin to even explain the existence of Jake Paul and Joshua in the same room? Joshua will have to KO Jake Paul fast. The way he knocked out Ngannou, I think so. Of course it's absurd. I'll tell you another interesting thing that's come out now. Layla Ali said that she wanted 15 or 20 million to face Clarissa Shields. Clarissa Shields and her team have found 15 million for Layla Ali to come out of retirement and fight Clarissa Shields. I want to see Layla Ali come back. If she's going to come back and fight, she has to have some warm-up fights. Couple of warm-up fights at least. She can't just come out of... Man, Layla Ali's so fine. She can't come out of like what the cooking stuff she's doing now, and then decide to go out and fight. No, I mean it's in your blood and stuff like that. But really, Layla Ali needs to get a couple of fights. I think. I mean she's in great shape. I don't know what shape she's in for boxing, but she's in great shape. Man, fine woman, Layla Ali. But do I really want to see Clarissa Shields beating up Layla Ali? No, I don't want to see that. But if Layla Ali were to come back, and if Layla Ali were to come back and to beat up Clarissa Shields, it'd be something, huh? AJ will play the card as it's the end of his career, coming to the end in the build-up. Surely he can't hype it up. I don't know. I said boxing is getting more like WWE. I predicted this 5 years ago. We are in WWE era. I mean, if I don't, just to picture Jake Paul knocking out Anthony Joshua just for a second. Has anyone thought for 1 second that Jake Paul might be have like delusions of grandeur? Because I mean, you've been you've been doubted by so many people that you actually build up a psyche that no matter what people say to you, even if it's in your even if it's in your best benefit to listen, you're gonna shut everybody out and you're gonna focus on saying you're gonna be the best. You're gonna be the best. Like, you've got to the point where gonna run against a brick wall, and you can see yourself running through the brick wall, and everyone's telling you, look, there's a brick wall there, bro. We're not trying to like kind of hold you back. Cause I know a lot of people are trying to hold you back before, but you're gonna run straight into a bloody brick wall here, mate. And you can see he's running, and he don't care. He's got the blinkers on. He's just going, right, I'm going for this. This is me. And fair play to Jake Paul for trying to do that, to prove to the boxing world that he's serious. But you don't need to be going in with Anthony Joshua, mate. But to be fair, Anthony Joshua looks very confused at the moment. He doesn't know, like I said before, if he's a Mexican, if he's an American, if he's from the UK, if he's Muhammad Ali, if he's Mike Tyson, if he's Larry Holmes. I don't know if Joshua even knows who he is himself. Because what if you were to turn around today and tell me what is Anthony Joshua's fighting style? Could you answer me that question? What is Anthony Joshua's fighting style? Is he a boxer? Is he a puncher? Is he a brawler? Is he a sniper? What is he? To me, he's hybrid, meaning he's in between boxer puncher, or maybe hybrid. Boxer puncher. I don't know. Don't know. I don't know. But that Jake Paul fight's going to happen. The way it's looking, it looks like it's going to happen, and it's mega money, mega money. But if Jake Paul versus Anthony Joshua is made, then you know the era that we're in. We're in the WWE era, and for that, anything is possible. Anything. Don't be surprised you start getting WWF wrestlers or WWE wrestlers that actually cross over and want to box. Yeah, that's the next thing. And once that happens, we're in complete pantomime mode. Or boxers going into WWE and backstage fights and all the rest of it and stage stuff. We are really in that era now. And the question where you start questioning yourself and asking, is this reality or is this fantasy? Did I just see that? Did that really happen, or was this scripted, or was this AI? Because I don't know. You saw Pacquiao fight last night, and I'm sure Pacquiao beat Barrios last night. But they did this crap with Evander Holyfield. When you're older, they don't want, and you make a comeback, then they don't want you to win the title. They'll let you fight, but they won't get your decision at the end. They did it to Holyfield. I think Holyfield would have ended up being 5-time heavyweight champion or what if he'd beat Valuev, which I thought he'd beat Valuev. But they didn't give it to Holyfield. So, anyway, enough of this. Thank you so much for watching. This has been BWTM Sports Gaming. Don't forget to rate, subscribe, leave your comments. As always, I'm out. Take care.